Hi guys, welcome back to a basement. Um so today I thought it would be fun to get a little bit of that theme going of Halloween and everything, and to get myself in the basement of my grandma's house and give you some books that give me the vibe of a basement, or I feel like I would read in a very cold and damp, but also dry and old and full of cobwebs basement. So stay tuned to get my recommendations. This video is very spontaneous. I don't know what is going through my head, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But I think for the first half, I'm just gonna go into some modern basement kind of not classics, modern basement books, and then I'm gonna go into some more classic basement books, the ones that have a bit more of a gothic, classy feeling to them, dark. I mean, they're all dark, but twisted in different ways. So, first and foremost, I'm gonna start with the modern ones. Let's get into those recommendations. For my modern collection of books I would read in an empty basement, I am gonna start with what feels to me like a very obvious choice, and that is Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. I think that was the name. If not, I'm really sorry. Forgive me. But it's a pretty dark, very taboo, in a sense, kind of book. It talks about this girl that has a passion for photography and especially photographing males. However, her fantasies tend to evolve throughout the book into darker and more violent preferences towards what she expresses in her photography with the males, and it's a somewhat unsettling book when it comes to the mind of a female. And I would also recommend this book for my female rage lovers, although this is a very extreme level of female rage that we're talking about. After that, I have to say, any book by Sayaka Murata for me is perfect for this kind of vibe. And not in itself because it is scary or it's dark, or, I mean, they are, but it's dark in a sense in which it's visceral and it's very descriptive. I personally really enjoyed Earthlings, and there's this blue book that I have on my reading list right now that I would love to get into, and I just know it's gonna be the same idea. It's basically a very dark, I count the times I say dark in this video, but very messed up metaphorical view at society and the problems that the author sees with society. So, for example, in Earthlings, you'll have this snippet where Earthlings in and out of itself is a book about two cousins that have feelings for each other and end up having this romantic and intimate relationship at some point. And then after that, they never see each other again and they live their lives and they become a part of society. And then they meet again, and it's this really messed up kind of vibe. But realistically, if you actually look at the book in and out of itself, by the way, very masterfully written again, it's so much about the issues that the author sees with society, and I tend to agree with. So very good for the basement, basically, because nobody can catch you contemplating whether things are right or wrong. Not that there is a right or wrong, but, there is a moral and immoral. What else? This is for one of the people that has recommended me some books in the past video, which, by the way, thank you so much, you guys, for commenting so much in the past video, because I always wanted to interact more with you and I never got the chance to do so. And the fact that you guys commented in so many numbers, I mean, for me, so many numbers, has been the best, because I get to interact with you and for you guys to give me recommendations and stuff like that. But back into the recommendation and an acknowledgement for that person. I have to mention by Franz Kafka. This one, I guess it's a bit more atmospheric rather than anything else. I would read that book in a basement any day of the week, any season. I just need it to be cold. I need it to be dark. If you've never heard of Metamorphosis, it's a, once again, very much metaphorical, philosophical view on life. It's the story of a man that turns into a cockroach. I found exactly what I need you to know. Think of these 3 words that make me think of Metamorphosis: isolation, dark, claustrophobia. I'm also going to give an honorable mention on the more modern side to The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, because I feel like, although it's not necessarily dark, it's not necessarily horror, it's not Halloween or anything like that, it just still holds this space of confinement, of alienation, of isolation, of this woman that goes through so much and descends into mental illness, in a sense, that I just really think it's a worthy mention. Plus, your mom is probably going to be concerned when she sees you reading that, so. On to the classics. I cannot help but mention Dracula by Bram Stoker. I don't know what there is to say. It's gothic, it feels like a Victorian novel. It feels like you're entering Halloween Town without wanting to. It's not necessarily what I expected it to be, and it's maybe a slower pace than I expected it to be at first, without having any kind of actual review on it. I went into it without knowing anything, but I think it's really atmospheric. It's perfect gothic horror. There's nothing else to mention. Bram Stoker, Dracula. Classy. I cannot go a day without mentioning Frankenstein. It's just, I want to kiss Mary Shelley on the mouth for this. Also, my grandmother has told me on many occasions that she is shocked that this book is written by a woman, to which I answer I'm not shocked at all, and I love that about it. It's this beautiful, dark again. It's just this beautiful look at human nature that goes beyond what you would expect it to be. It's a monster that is more human than the human, and a human that is more monster than the monster is. And the atmosphere in itself is very haunting, it's very austere, and I feel like that's what you're looking for when it comes to books that you would read in a basement, hidden away. Wuthering Heights. I know it's a romance, but it's gothic. It's got tragedy, it's got death, it's got ghosts, it's got a haunting love affair, it's got forbidden romance, it's got all of these tropes while still maintaining a certain air of, you know, haunted. What else? Rebecca. Rebecca is genuinely haunted. I have partially read Rebecca, and I have watched the full movie with Lily Collins, but I'm still gonna recommend it. The house of Manderley, the house that this girl moves into. She gets married to this man who is a widower, has been a widower for a little while, and the house that they start living in is haunted by their ex-wife. The whole story, and her finding out and understanding the dynamics of the house and just the everything. I love how, imagine the color blue with a silver coat, but this pale blue that almost feels dead. That's my description of that. Another book that I cannot shut the heck up about is the picture of Dorian Gray. Admittedly, it's not the one that maybe your mind might go to for the first thing, and it's not an offensive book. It was definitely a very offensive book at the time, but you tell me there's not something Halloween-y in a man that is so beautiful and is the muse for an artist. He doesn't want to age, he's scared of aging, and somehow this artist paints him, and the painting starts aging and taking on all of the weight and the effect of this young man's life. And as he ages and as he becomes older and grayer and much more miserable, although it doesn't show on the exterior, the painting in itself shows everything. And the painting is just hidden from sight until the character dies. It's a story of beauty and the tragedy of beauty, but so much more than that. And sorry, I get very excited and passionate. The story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I think it's the story. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Crazy scientist man that is not crazy, he's an okay guy, makes an experiment and somehow turns into this absolute crazy, miserable, evil man, creature, monster, whatever you want to call it. And it just keeps going back and forth in between that. And scares the heck out of you. If it didn't scare the heck out of you when you were a kid.
So I got home and I realized that I missed some potentially really good 2 recommendations. One for the modern part, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, because although it teeters maybe a bit more on the dark academia kind of side, I still think it's got a dark feel to it and definitely some rather murderous mentions. It does feel like the atmosphere is very crisp, fall-esque, and very much an austere, dark, cold marble university with some rather intriguing characters. And for my classical literature part that I forgot, I have to mention, I don't know how I forgot, Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, although I feel like any Dostoevsky book will do for that. It just feels like the kind of book that is dark, murderous, cold, damp. You would probably read it, I don't know, in the winter, in a dark place, with only a candle on the table, and you can barely read the words. It's not the easiest read, and it's definitely on the longer side, but it fits the vibe.
Yeah, I think with that, we have reached my conclusion, because I am freezing, and I'm also hearing weird sounds. So I think it's my cue to go, and to thank you so much once again for watching. I know this is a rather short and quick and sweet and whatever video and very themed, but I'm planning for something a bit better for next week, to some degree, and I just hope this was somewhat interesting and you also gathered some new recommendations. I know some of them I have already mentioned in previous videos of mine, but that's just the vibe that I like. I'm constantly in Halloween mood in my head. And I hope you're okay. I hope you're having fun whenever you're reading this, and I hope you find some really, really good books. And please give me some book recommendations, some feedback. Talk to me in the comment section, because I love talking to you guys. So whatever you want to talk about, if I missed anything and you have any ideas, if you guys want to see something in particular from me, please let me know. And love you. Hope you're having fun whenever. I said that already. Have a good meal. Have a good day and a good meal. and take care of yourself. Okay, I'm gonna stop. This is weird.